I'd like to reconvene to open session. Today is May 29th, and it is 6 o'clock on the dot. Yay for us. So we do have some reports from open session, from closed session, and the board took action on a motion by trustee Maselli and seconded by trustee Zeta to approve staff recommendation of student readmission from a stipulated expulsion of student number 23-031 by the following vote. The ayes were 5. There were no noes, no absentees, and no abstentions. We also took action on a motion by trustee Hirsch and seconded by trustee Zeta to approve staff recommendation for student readmission from a stipulated expulsion of student number 23-032 by the following vote. The ayes were 5, noes 0, absent 0, abstain 0. John, would you, Mr. Ovick, Dr. Ovick, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Announcement.
Oh, sorry, wait. Oh, I was so focused on the other. Okay. This meeting is recorded for live streaming and archiving on the district YouTube channel. And if you could, if you would lead us in the pledge. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And we come to item number 7, approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And our highlight tonight is Benicia High boys volleyball and Benicia High wind turbine team. Principal Brianna Kleinschmidt, welcome up to the podium.
Hello, everyone. I'm very lucky to be here today to highlight a few of our programs at Benicia High School. We've just had a lot of really exciting stuff going on as we end the year, and I appreciate the opportunity to share some of that with you. The first will be our boys volleyball team, who made history this year as they just won their way through playoffs to the section championships and ended up second in the section, bringing home the banner, and that was setting history for our school. So we were very excited. And so I'm here on behalf of Coach Maynard Patasil and Alora Somontan, who couldn't be here tonight, unfortunately, due to work. But we do have a few of our volleyball players, our student athletes here with us. So I want to call up Jacob Santos and Ian Nagata to join me up front. And, oh, good, and Duncan made it. Come up, Duncan. Sorry, I didn't see you sneak in behind me. I just want to give them the opportunity, if they'd like, to share just a little bit about their experience this season. They had a ton of fun. They won in 3 sets, beat Windsor High School. We'd love to beat Windsor High School. And Corey Lane. It was a lot of fun to watch. So with that, I'll turn it over.
Hi, I'm Duncan Seeley. I played outside hitter for the boys volleyball team. I had a really fun year. This is my junior year, 3rd year playing for Benicia High, 2nd year on varsity. I've learned so much. I have so much fun every time, especially going to away games with these guys. My boy Ian, my setter Jacob. Wow, all the experience, all the memories I've made playing for the high school. Countless memories, jokes told. So much fun playing against other teams, going to see other schools. I really enjoy that. And I just like to say thank you to everyone who helps give us the opportunity to do that year in and year out.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ian Nagata. I'm also an outside hitter for the boys volleyball team, and
I'm just glad that we can make history for Benicia, and I'm just looking forward to what we can do in the future.
I'm Jacob Santos. I'm a setter for the boys volleyball team. I just want to say how proud I am that we've gone so far. You know, I've only been at the school and playing for the varsity team for 2 years, but watching it before I came to the high school, you know, haven't really gone very far, but I'm glad that I was part of the team that did.
Yes, of course. Thanks for being here. Yeah, let's get a picture before you guys disappear. Our seniors are at senior banquet tonight, so you'll see with both of our highlights, we don't have too many of our seniors here with us because they're at senior banquet, but.
Congratulations on your season.
Congratulations. And then,
And then we also have one of our teachers, Andreas Kaiser, and 2 members of our wind turbine team who recently competed in the Kid Wind World Championships, which is amazing, and brought home Rookie of the Year. And so I'm going to call up Logan Beta and Xavier Irvin and Mr. Kaiser to share with us about that experience. As they come up, I want to make sure to also shout out to Sophia Bogard, Jamil Saleh, and Ruslan Spurkin, who are not here tonight, but were part of the team.
Hi guys, I'd first like to just thank Ms. Kleinschmidt, Mr. Kaiser, my team, and all of the companies that were able to actually fund our trip. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them, and because of that, I will just be forever thankful. That's all I really got.
Yeah, I'm Logan. I'm going to tell you what we did. This is one of the blades from the turbine. So this is made from some 3D print parts and carbon fiber. But the competition was super interesting. He started us off in the competition in the beginning of the year in like February to go to the regional event, which none of us had any idea we would win. And we ended up doing super well, and we got moved on to the world competition. We were like, whoa, this is really big. So we ended up raising $5,000 from a bunch of different companies around Benicia to sponsor the trip, and we flew all the way down to Arizona and competed. And then we got the Rookie of the Year award. Super cool. It was definitely challenging, and there was a lot of high-powered teams from Taiwan and Kansas and stuff I would have never expected. But Taiwan, yeah, it was the world competition, so international, so teams from all around. It's super interesting. But everyone else is moving out. I'm the only junior on the team, so hopefully next year you're going to see me here again. Who knows? With the Intergalactor something, you know, like something bigger than that. Anyway. That's the team, and Kaiser was super helpful as well, even though he helped us a lot with the planning and stuff like that as well.
I'll just say a couple quick words. So really proud of the team. They work super hard, and it's a whole class of students in my advanced engineering design honors class who worked on this project. It was the first time I've ever done it. It was a collaborative competition with Cal Maritime. So my engineering classes teamed up with Cal Maritime. We did a tour of their facility. It's now Cal Poly, Cal Maritime. So they're trying to promote it as an engineering school for more of our students that don't even know it exists. So it was really good for them to go out and see the campus. And at that competition, that's when they won first in the high school division. So that was super exciting that Benicia High first time came in and we won, and happy that they were able to go. Unfortunately, I could not go. We had Xavier's father was gracious enough to take the kids on a non-school field trip kind of to go there, so they were able to compete, and that was great. That I'm really appreciative to him and to the whole team for doing it. And as many of you know, this is my last year at Benicia High School, so it was a great way going out with the big bang. I'm very proud of them, and I really hope that these engineering programs continue in the future here at Benicia High School, Benicia Unified, because I think they're very, very valuable for the students. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say congratulations to the team. That's awesome, first year out, and you won. I mean, that's just wonderful news. Keep up the good work. You'll still be here, right? And to Mr. Kaiser, you are going to be missed so much. And I appreciate the stuff that you have done with the students, and I've always followed it, and you will be missed. I wanted to say that.
So we come to item number 9. We have no student reports, so Superintendent Wright.
All right, good evening. Gosh, this school year flew by. I can't believe that we're already in June and approaching the end of the school year. And I just want to thank the students, staff, and community for an outstanding school year once again. And I'm really looking forward to the festivities next week. It's always exciting when we get to see the promotions and the graduation ceremonies. So June 6th is our last day of school. I know Benicia High School starts their final exams on Monday. Just to quickly go over the graduation and promotion schedules. Mary Farmer, June 4th at 9 a.m. at Farmer. Matthew Turner's on June 4th at 6 p.m. at Turner. Liberty High School's graduation will take place at 6 p.m. at Marina Pavilion. And Robert Semple's will be on June 6th at 9 a.m. Benicia Middle School will be on June 6th at 2 p.m. and Benicia High School will be Saturday, June 7th at 10 a.m. at the stadium. So we're really looking forward to those events and watch our students move on to the next chapter of their lives. Here's some additional highlights that I want to share. I know Benicia Middle School and Benicia High School, their band performed at the Memorial Day Parade and Veteran Ceremony Parade in Mill Valley. They did get some media attention. They did a great job and got a lot of great accolades. Proud of them every time that they compete because they always do it and they do it well. We have a junior at Benicia High School, Annika Jadif. I got it right, thank you. She won first place in the 2025 Solano County Science and Engineering Fair for the High School Environmental Science Division. She received a Congressional Commendation Certificate of Recognition from the California Legislative Assembly and a Certificate of Recognition from the California State Senate. So, I mean, Benicia High School, today is your day. In addition, Benicia High School, their athletics, their spring sports, they had an outstanding season. You just heard about how our boys volleyball team did, but our softball team, they advanced to the semifinals. They fell short to Cardinal Newman, had an outstanding season. Our baseball team competed in Division I, fell short in the quarterfinals to Foothill. And we have a couple of track and field athletes that are still competing. I believe they should be heading to state this time of year. So very proud of our student athletes, and it's been an outstanding year. We have a couple of observances for June. It's Pride Month, an opportunity to celebrate the LGBTQ plus community for the month of June. It's African American Music Appreciation Month, Filipino Heritage Month, National Immigration Heritage Month, Juneteenth, National Autistic Pride Day, and you can't forget Father's Day, so get out there and get shopping for Father's Day. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. Do we have any board reports?
You go first, please.
Oh, no, please.
Me? Oh, gosh, okay. All right, I'll go first. I had a few things going on. I attended a CAP refinery tour of Valero. So as part of my board duties, I'm on the community advisory panel for Valero. And I've never, despite growing up in Benicia, I've never seen the refinery behind the gates. And so we took a tour of that with other new CAP members. It was very interesting, and it kind of hit home that Valero is going to leave a big void in this town if they do end up closing. I attended the Night of the Stars with many of us here tonight to honor all of our educators. It was a fantastic night. Attended BMS Open House. It was, I hope in the future more people show up. It's a great time to go walk around the campus. My son wanted to visit every room, and we did that. So come on down. I went to Benicia High School and had an opportunity to sit down with Principal Kleinschmidt and meet with some of our CTE teachers and see the programs in action, and that was a great day. I felt just really inspired. So thank you for having me. And I wanted to, I also went to the Memorial Day Parade in Mill Valley, and I wanted to mention that Benicia High and Benicia Middle School were the only marching bands in the parade. And Principal Nelson, who used to work in Mill Valley and who was walking with us, he came down. He was getting text messages just saying that we were the highlight of the parade. And it was so cool. I would love to see that news coverage. I didn't even know that. That's great. I was approached by the Seroptimists of Benicia. They have put together a new book. It is called Supporting Your Future. And it was written by Andre Lewis, who's a local author, and spearheaded by Kelly Baldwin and Julia Warner, who are two of our Seroptimists. Also have kids in our schools, one at Farmer and at Semple. 10% of the sales of this book will go to the program. It's a literacy program, and the book focuses on girls and opportunities that you can have as you grow up. They are donating copies of these books to our schools, so I want to thank the Seroptimists for doing that. That's awesome. It's a great book. Check it out. And then last but not least, the City of Benicia, at the direction of Mayor Young, has established a number of task forces. There's one task force that includes BUSD, and that's being spearheaded by Lionel Largaspada. The idea of the task force is to kind of determine what do we need to do to move forward if Valero does, in fact, cease operations. And so Lionel will be spearheading this event. I know that he's already talked to Dr. Beatson, and the goal is to not be splintered in our approach, but to try to have a cohesive approach to help fund the schools along with nonprofits, sports teams, restaurants, and hotels. That's kind of our task force number 2. So we'll hear more on that soon. That's it.
Thank you.
So I also attended the Night of Stars, which is such a fantastic evening to honor all the employees of Benicia Unified. It was a great night, well-attended. The food was good, and there was actually a bartender this time. And it was really, everybody was so happy. And this afternoon, I had the great pleasure of attending the senior walk at Matthew Turner. And for me, it's very personal because those are some of my students. And it kind of makes me a little teary because they're so grown up. Sometimes it's hard to recognize them because they have changed, and it's always such a wonderful experience. So I'm just so happy that we as a district honor our seniors and bring them to our elementary schools so that our elementary students can really see what they can become. It's very inspiring. And that's all I have. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so now we come to comments from members of the public. And members of the public may address the board at regular meetings on any item within the board's jurisdiction. Speaker cards are available at the entrance table. Please note the item you wish to speak about and submit a card to the board secretary. The board president will call all the open session general comments, Government Code Section 54954.3, during the public comment item. Comments on items on the agenda will be called during that specific item. Comments are limited to no more than 3 minutes per speaker, or the board may limit the total time to 20 minutes per item with the timer displayed on the monitors. By law, no action can be taken on any item raised during the public comment periods and matters may be referred to staff for placement on future agendas. Please be reminded to keep your comments respectful, as students may be watching the board meeting. Thank you. Do we have any comments? We will move on. We are over to approval of the consent calendar. Background information on these items is provided to the board prior to the meeting. A common motion takes action without discussion on roll call vote unless discussion items is requested by the board members. So we have 11A. So we have approval of the minutes, acceptance of gifts to the district, which were unbelievably generous. So Opus One Winery, and we want to thank all those that that gifted the district. Opus One Winery donated to the Joey Douglas Memorial Scholarship to Benicia High School Student Scholarship Fund in the amount of $500, and we thank them. Brian Douglas to Benicia High School Student Scholarship Fund in the amount of $500, and we thank the Douglas family. Valero, in support of the Benicia High School girls softball program, received a one-time check in the amount of $1,000, and we certainly appreciate that from Valero. DonorsChoose.org, a smart board with an estimated value of $3,000 to the Megumi Sakamoto for the purpose of instruction, special ed at Benicia High School. Thank you so much. We so appreciate all those wonderful gifts. Thank you so much. And now we come to,
I gotta approve the.
I'm sorry.
consent calendar.
We have to approve it, sorry.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as written.
I'll second.
Okay, President Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Trustee Seda.
Yes.
Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Manasi.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we have resolutions that will need to be roll called separately.
Okay. Approval of resolution number 24-25-32, declaration of obsolete books from Matthew Turner.
I move that we approve resolution 24-25-32.
That's going to be on the same motion, so it'll be first by Maselli,
So-
second by
Yeah, first by.
Seda. Okay, and then we'll do the roll call vote. So I'm going to do Trustee Seda. Yes. Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
Trustee Manasi. Yes. President Grubbs.
Yes.
And Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Thank you.
An approval of resolution number 24-25-37, declaration of obsolete property from Mary Farmer Elementary.
Okay, those are the same motions, so we go President Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Manasi.
Yes.
Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
And Trustee Seda. Yes. Thank you.
And approval of resolution number 24-25-38, declaration of obsolete property from Mary Farmer Elementary.
Again, the same motion, so Trustee Manasi.
Yes.
President Grubbs.
Yes.
Trustee Seda. Yes. Trustee Hirsch.
Yes.
And Trustee Maselli.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we come to item number 12, presentation and communications. 2025 to 2026 enrollment update. That will be Dr. Jennings and Dr. Ovick.
Yes, President Grubbs, before we start our presentation, I want to use this opportunity, since the personal action was approved, to recognize someone that's in the audience that was recently approved as the athletic director, vice principal for Benicia High School. So I am pleased to introduce Katie Cadero as the new athletic director, vice principal for Benicia High School. Katie Cadero comes to Benicia High School with over 15 years of classroom teaching experience. As a high school three-sport athlete at Clayton Valley High School, Ms. Cadero was inducted into their Athletic Hall of Fame, both as an individual and as part of the 1998 North Coast Sectional Champions Women's Basketball team. She has continued her passion for athletics through coaching basketball, volleyball, and golf at the middle and high school levels. She has maintained her status as an LPGA teaching instructor since 2008, giving both private and group lessons. And actually, a Yelp reviewer stated that Katie is an amazing coach for players of all ages and all skill levels. In her current position as a ninth grade physical education teacher, Katie is the PBIS team facilitator and serves as a substitute administrator when needed. Katie brings with her a desire to foster positive, inclusive relationships through extracurricular activities. She gives credit to her experience as a youth participating on numerous athletic teams and to her ability as an adult to adapt to change, develop positive relationships, and keep a winning attitude. We are very excited to welcome her to the Benicia High Panther family. So I don't know if you want to say a few words.
Sure. Yeah, I'm really excited to join the family, join the Pride. Every interaction I've had with this district and everybody in the personnel, it's been really lovely. It's been very positive, and it like matches my energy. So I'm like really excited. Also, like the campus tour that I got to take with the students was so fun, seeing the facilities and the kids like so proud of everything that they're doing. Volleyball team, I brought the first boys volleyball team to the last high school I was at, so I'm like, yay, boys volleyball. Like, that makes me really excited. So, yeah, I'm stoked to be wearing blue and to join the Benicia Panthers. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Scudero. Oh, okay, now on to the presentation of, on enrollment. So good evening, President Grubbs, Board Trustees, Superintendent Wright, and the Benicia Unified Community. Tonight, with the support of Dr. John Ovick, the Director of Student Services, we will present on the policies and timelines of enrollment, specifically on inter and intra-district transfers. Next slide. We will cover sort of our presentation flow. We'll cover board policy, sort of the application of policy. We'll also look at the enrollment timeline, sort of how we operate specifically through the spring, and then sort of some next steps as we think about next year and any modifications or revisions that we might want to do to the process. So this language is pulled straight from our board policy. It's specifically around intra-district transfers, which is also known as open enrollment. Just as a reminder, this window opens March 1st to March 31st, where families that reside in Benicia, particularly obviously at our elementary sites, because we have one middle school and one high school, have the ability to apply to attend a school that's not within their boundaries. There is board policy language that specifically says that a student within that residency area cannot be displaced by a student who does not live in those boundaries. So that is part of our board policy, and I just really wanted to make sure to call that out. And then here are the the guidelines regarding what circumstances that someone can request a transfer. The next enrollment that we wanted to look at, or type of enrollment, is inter-district transfers. Those are students who live outside of the Benicia city and wish to come to Benicia schools. And this application window opens in January. It actually starts January 10th of each year and continues on. There's not necessarily an endpoint. We tend to have that open, but I'll show you in the timeline kind of where we actually start to make some decisions. And again, I called out that language that no student currently residing within the school district boundaries will be displaced because of a student who's attending from outside the attendance area. And these are the eligible reasons that someone can give to attend a school in Benicia. So whether it's childcare, transportation, if they have some kind of special mental or physical health needs, this language is taken from Ed Code. So these are the reasons in Ed Code that allow a student from another district to apply for an inter-district transfer. And so the district that they're coming from, there's a process that they have, and they have criteria, they have board policy in terms of what allows a student to leave their district to come here. They have their own process that they use and that they apply. So families have to first go through that process in that district before we receive the application and review it.
Dr. Jennings, can I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely.
I noticed on the two priority, the eligible reasons for the intra and the inter-district transfers, those are both based on statute, the priorities?
Yes.
Okay, and so we can't really, because they don't match up, the priorities, like there are different priorities for intra.
Yes.
That allows an employee of a school to have a priority, but that's not the case for inter.
Church, exactly.
Okay.
And I think it goes back to the priority is given, and we'll go through, I have another slide that the priority is given for residents of Benicia. So
Okay.
that's always going to be the higher
More.
priority.
Okay.
So, good question. The next slide, just as an important note, when students request to attend on an interdistrict agreement or an IDA, that we make sure that they have good attendance. They have to submit their attendance records. They have to submit any discipline records that they have, and their grades. So we have that information so that we can ensure that they meet the requirements in terms of average grades and good attendance. And in order to remain on an interdistrict agreement, they have to maintain those. And students are, if they do not, they're typically given a warning notice of some kind. And then in those instances where the student's attendance is poor, it's usually typically attendance, then in those cases, we unfortunately have to revoke the interdistrict transfer if that becomes an issue. Also, we sometimes have times when there's not space in that grade level or that school or that program. Where we cannot accept an interdistrict transfer. So we look at that as well. It can be a really complex sort of puzzle that Dr. Ovick and I have spent quite a few hours going through and making sure that we have appropriate space where we need to have space. And just to recap a bit, so students living in Benicia, school residents have first priority over wherever they live, whichever boundary, they have first priority. Second are students, students living in the Benicia Schools residency boundary. So if you are a student at Robert Simple, if you live in Robert Simple's boundaries, you have priority at that site. Second comes students living anywhere in Benicia. We do have, there's some guidelines if there's a sibling that's attending a school that you're requesting to attend, or if there's a parent or guardian working at the school, that they also get priority if they live in Benicia. Like if they live in Benicia. So that is the second priority. And then third, those are students on interdistrict transfers, and then there's a process that we go through for that, and we prioritize. First, are students currently enrolled in the school. So we have, particularly at TK, so we have students who apply for interdistrict transfers at transitional kindergarten. They come in, so they then will do a renewal. So they get priority over students who are newly enrolling as on an interdistrict or trying to, who are applying for, as a kindergartner who have not been in our school yet. So then, or if they have siblings at the school site. So if you are applying, you have siblings at the school site, you might get priority over someone else who does not have siblings already attending that school. And then the other, all others, it's based on just is there space at that grade level, at that school, and in that program. And sometimes the answer is no, there's not space at that grade level, but there's space here, so we'll offer another site. Or if there's not space in the program, students are placed on a wait list.
I have another question. Is it ever the case where if you have too many people in a geographic area assigned to a school, like say, I mean, if I'm living in the Matthew Turner district, which is where I am, could it be the case that the school is full and my kids couldn't go there?
That has happened on occasion, I imagine, over the course of the years. I mean, I remember when my own children attended Benicia schools, that might happen, especially if they're enrolling later in the year, that could possibly happen. We do have to abide by our collective bargaining agreement with our teachers union in terms of the class size limitations that we have. We're not gonna put someone over and we would have to have the kid, even just for that school year, attend somewhere else. But we do work to staff it so that we have adequate space at that site for the students who live in that attendance boundary.
Yeah, and it's never happened since I've been here that I know of, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's happened too.
Oh, it has happened? Okay.
I know a Joe Henderson family.
Especially if we have space in another school, in another district. And, you know, unfortunately, students don't come in nice, neat class-size packages, because we would really love that, but often, there might be 15 kids in one class at one site, and so we can't add just another class at another school site for 3 kids over, so we have to have them go to a different school. Okay, and the next slide. This is the enrollment decision timeline, or just sort of give you sort of an overview of the process. As I mentioned earlier, the inter-district applications are open on January 10th. And so we have families who are, live outside the district who are interested in coming to Benicia. They can apply in January and February. And as we go through the timeline, you'll see that they may not hear until June. It's a long timeline for that process. And part of it is that our district enrollment opens in February. So students who reside in Benicia, they start registering for the next school year in February. And then after that starts, then in March is when open enrollment happens. So families that live in Benicia can then request to go to a different school. So that happens in March, from March 1st to the 31st. It closes on the 31st. So that's when we start making decisions around, based on where our current enrollment, to the best of our knowledge, is, where the students who are, what open enrollment spaces we have, or if we have any open enrollment spaces. So then that decision has to be made. Then we look, so those are the inter-district, the open enrollment. So we look at the inter-districts, and then we notify families here, either wait list, you're being placed here, or we aren't able to accommodate your request. And then we start looking at inter-district transfers, and that typically doesn't happen until early May. And then we first start with renewals. So we look at the students who are already in our schools, they're transitioning from 5th to 6th or 8th to 9th, and they're renewing their inter-district transfer. So then we look at those, go through the process, evaluate grades, attendance, to see who is approved for the next grade and who we have space, how many students we have space for. And then we notify the out-of-district renewal applicants. So then that's done. Then we start with the new applicants, people who are newly requesting to attend a school in Benicia that live outside the Benicia area. We go through that same, evaluate, is there space in that grade, that site, that grade, or that program. And then we are just now working on finishing, or almost finished, not quite, finishing the notifications to those families. And our hope is to finish it by mid-June, so that people go into the summer having some certainty about where they're attending school. And so you can see as I go through the timeline and where we're making decisions, there's some things that we might want to do a little differently as we think about next year. There are some things that are part of board policy. Open enrollment isn't part of board policy. That's something that we might look at as we think about that window of when it opens, because that we pause everything else until we can ensure that where families who have requested to attend a different school in Benicia, where the openings are. So if you want to go to the next slide, thank you. So one of the things that we're doing sort of to make sure that, one, our staffing is accurate and that we have the space that we need, is that we are going to schedule some time during July. Normally July is sort of a quiet period here, and the sites are all closed, but have some time where families could come to the district office to finish their enrollment process, so that we don't wait until the office staff returns in August to take any new enrollments. So then if we need to make any adjustments, we can make them and be proactive about it. So we're not making them days before school starts. And then we're gonna monitor our enrollment over the summer, and then if we have the opportunity to approve any inter-districts or if there's any intra-district or open enrollments that weren't approved, but now there's space, we can make those adjustments. We'll monitor that over the summer. And then we're gonna continue to communicate with families, the families that are on the wait list, that are, gonna be finding out in the next few weeks, if they have a place or they've been placed on a wait list. And then we're looking at revising the enrollment timeline for next school year and doing just a couple of little tweaks of when our enrollment opens as a district, and then when the open enrollment period opens as a district. So those are some things that we're looking at to refine the process. And then I didn't know if Dr. Ovick had anything that he wanted to add. We're good? Okay. He's done a phenomenal job of organizing, maintaining, communicating with families. So.
I just want to appreciate your going through this step by step. It really clarifies, and the other thing is, I love your forward thinking. You know, I think that you and Dr. Ovid may have listened to the community, and so I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say and maybe ask a question. So thank you. This is super helpful. I really appreciate that. I know that, our Vallejo families are really sort of questioning and wondering what's happening and what the next steps are for them. And I just want to put this out there just in terms to support those families. Is it fair to say that those families really need to be communicating with the Vallejo City School District and, establish that communication line there?
I appreciate the question, absolutely. I think that because they have to start the process there, and I know that there's been changes in some of our neighboring districts in terms of their process for inter-district transfers, and so that's going to be the source of information for them. Because we're not aware of if they have any sort of change in practice or we're not always made aware of that. So we work hard not to advise them about what to do because we don't know exactly what their process is. They have updated, like Vallejo specifically has updated their website. It's a wealth of knowledge in terms of the process and what families need to do. And I would just encourage them to check the website. There's people to contact there if they have questions, because the process starts there. And I do know that as we've gone through this spring, we're going to have less and less space available just because we staff to a certain amount, and then it might be a challenge. And even if they are released from a neighboring district, doesn't mean that we would have space at that school, that grade, or that program.
That confuses me a little bit because we're in declining enrollment. And we do depend on our inter-district transfers.
Yes, and we also want to make sure that we have adequate staffing. So we have staffed based on our projections. And, obviously that has some inclusion of students who are on inter-district transfers. Our challenge is the challenge that's going to be there in the coming years is as our neighboring districts are tightening their process and requiring students to enroll or to reapply every year, that's become a new policy for them. So it's going to create a lot of fluctuation in terms of us knowing how many students. So for us to have some sense of we know that we can accommodate X number within our our enrollment projections, then that will allow us to adequately staff.
It's complex.
It is really complex, and obviously we don't want to, if we have the space, we'll take them, but we also don't want to be in a position where we're hiring in August or September for a teacher because we've taken more than we actually have staffing for.
Sorry, go ahead. It's true, I believe, that if we have a staff member, teacher or staff, classified or certificated, that if they work at a specific school and possibly have a student in the district and they have an incoming TKer and we don't have space for them, how do we handle that? I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear on what the question is. So if we currently have a staff member who has a child that's attending our school, or their child, or wherever, and they have an incoming space, as long as we have they've applied early enough that we should not have there should not be a problem. And we are adjusting, on daily in terms of making sure that we are not overstaffed where we have more staff than we have students, because that would be a big hit to our budget. And then at the same time, making sure that the staff we have we have enrollment to match that.
And also remember that some sites get impacted where other sites are not impacted. So The sites that are impacted, yes, we can still accept that transfer, but it just may be at another school site. So in the district for 1 year, but maybe not at that school site because there's just not room at this time. Sometimes things change over the summer. Sometimes people move, there's some shifting, and when that happens, then we'll make adjustments accordingly. But we do accept IDAs, just may not be at the school site that you want because there just may not be space at that particular time.
Okay, I appreciate the input and the explanation. Thank you.
And I just, and again, we do prioritize the families that reside in that area, so, and there, we do have some sites that are highly impacted at specific grade levels where, without adding a whole nother class, which means that you need to make sure that you have 24 to 28 students to fill that, it becomes problematic. Yes, although if we do and then we don't have kids, it's more lost money. I mean, either way, like, it's like, there's a little bit of a, we do our best to make sure that our projections are as close to what we believe we're gonna show up and be present on that first week of school. So, we do our best.
Thank you so much for the update.
One more question. If families, now that our school year is ending, if they do want to come in July and come here to the district office, who do they call?
We will update the website, and so when you go to the enrollment information, it'll have contact information.
Great.
And then we'll have like 1 day a week where there'll be someone here that they can bring in,
There
whatever.
will actually be a button at the top that makes it easy for them
Fantastic.
with the 3 work permits, transcripts, and enrollment.
Great. Thank you all.
Wonderful, thank you. So now we come to our action items, and Ms. Egan, you are up.
Good evening. I am pleased to bring the recommendations to the board for consideration and possible appointment of 2 new members to the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. The recommendations are to appoint Dr. Gethsemane Moss to the CBOC in the capacity of retiree/senior citizens organization, and secondly, Kelly Hewson to the CBOC in the capacity of a parent or guardian of a child enrolled in the school district. The applicant's appointments to the CBOC committee are in keeping with the Measure C bylaws, and the recommendation is to appoint the 2 applicants to the committee. Any questions?
I have a question. I was wondering if you could give some more background on the process. I know that we went back out and advertised, and thank you so much for doing that. I know, it's a lot more of your time. I appreciate it. And I'm curious to know, how many people applied and how decisions were whittled down.
Recommendations,
Yeah,
sure. We had 6 total applicants. Of them, 1 was an applicant to the retiree position. There were 4 that were applicants to the parent of a BUSD student category. And then there was 1 that is an applicant that is eligible both as a parent and also as a business member for the district. That particular applicant, we had some questions on. We are considering them for the business role, but we need to work through a couple questions before we're going to bring recommendations to you. On the remaining 4 that applied for the position as a parent, 1 of them was ineligible because they are contracted to the district, so under the CBOC bylaws, they're not eligible. 1 of them was less desirable just because their student only has 1 more year in high school, and so their eligibility will only be present for 1 year. And then it came down to 2 remaining. We chose 1 based on activities involved and things like that. So that was kind of our process and how we went through it.
Is that hi, Roxanne. Is that a typical amount of people that normally apply?
It's actually a good amount that
That is a
came
good
out.
amount.
Yeah, that was a
Okay.
very good amount, and we can certainly, we're grateful to have people willing to serve on it. We need their input and help, and so we do the best we can to try to get people to participate. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On that note, so it would be these 2 individuals plus Mark, Diane, and Mark? 2 Marks?
Yes, that is correct.
And then We have 2 more positions to fill?
We have 2 more positions that are open, yes. It would be a position in the business member and a tax person who's involved in a tax accountant. We, at a minimum, we need enough to have a quorum, which is 4, and we are not mandated to have all 7 full. We do need at least 4, and then to go through our process and do the best we can.
When would the application go out for the remaining 2?
We can reissue the request. The other one, I'm not sure the business one has to be reissued. There's just some clarifications that need. We can reissue the ones for the tax person in the tax association. I would visualize, I mean, a lot of people leave over the summer and stuff, so I would think maybe this fall might be a good target, but if you want me to go sooner, I can. That would be my thought, yeah.
I think it would be great if there's opportunity from within those applications, if there was somebody that was eligible.
Yeah.
I think, diversity of thought is important, particularly as we're, managing tens of millions of dollars in taxpayers' money. So really wanting to make sure that we have good representation of that, I think, is important.
Absolutely.
And another possible consideration, I saw in the bylaws that it's just a minimum of 7. We could appoint, I know you mentioned there was one other parent applicant who you had to decide between. This is somebody who's willing to help out. I'm so grateful that people applied. I almost hate to turn somebody away. Is that possible to appoint another at-large member?
It is completely at the board's discretion if you want to appoint additional people at large. That's something that is new. There were a couple of tweaks between the Measure C bylaws that were enacted, and I think that they just are handed down from the state when that goes through, and there were some tweaks to the Measure C, and this particular item is a minor addition from what it was under Measure S, but that is definitely an option. I just would need to check if we are appointing the additional people as an at-large member, if that means I need to re-advertise. So, because at-large wasn't advertised because those positions weren't open. So I don't know if you can just, since based on the applications received, direct that, or if we need to re-advertise it in case anybody at-large wants to apply. So I could check on that though for you if you'd like and get clarification.
That would be great, just so that we know the rules, and if we need to do a new policy to kind of, maybe we add 2 more community at-large members, so that we don't have, a gazillion, and then, which I know won't happen, but you never know.
No, I think it's good to have some
It
boundary.
would be an amazing thing, but yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as the next step then, if we wanted to do more applications, is that when we pause to these, or
What we
how does
would
that work?
recommend and ask is that you go ahead and approve these so we have enough to do our needed immediate business. And then we can continue and open it for more after this, but we kind of need these guys there.
I'm going to add in that we've had our interim audit already, and right now we're completely out of compliance because, one, we don't have an appropriate committee. We need to have a quorum, and we're supposed to have at least 1 meeting. So we have the month of June to become compliant, or we have an audit finding. So the audit finding is more severe if you don't have a committee or a meeting, less severe if you have a committee but no meeting, or we can avoid the audit finding if we have a committee and a meeting in June.
Let's do that.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee's appointments to fill open vacancies.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we come to 13B, consideration and approval of the adoption of curriculum for world languages, Chinese and Mandarin for the high school. Hello, Mrs. Rice.
Good evening, board. Good evening, cabinet. I'm Stephanie Rice, Director of Education Services, and it is my pleasure to bring forth the recommendation for hopeful approval of Go Far with Chinese by Cheng and Sue Company. And this recommendation comes from our newly hired Miss Liang, who will be our Chinese Mandarin instructor at Benicia High School. Thank you, Mr. Kleinschmidt, for connecting us, and she was willing to get on board with digging into the curriculum with me. She has experience with this company, a different textbook, and so she was really excited to see this one. She prefers Go Far with Chinese for our level 1 Chinese Mandarin course. She was really impressed with the curriculum, as I was impressed with her reflections. She followed our adoption protocol, as I've shared with you, that's very hefty and reflective. Some of the highlights are that it aligns with the American Council for Teaching Foreign Language Standards, which we always make sure for our world languages. The lessons address contextual grammar, vocabulary, real-world communication, and language practice. And a big highlight is it's written for teens. So they follow the path of high school Chinese students. They're having discussion about things that apply to high school students, and they learn about the culture through the lens of other high school students. It's engaging. It's both digital and print. They get to practice their fluency by hearing the language and then responding back. They read stories in comic book format, so that's not just engaging, but it also brings the affect down of entering into another language and having just a lot of text. So it's engaging and it allows kids to enter in at different levels. The structure is really organized. She highlighted for both teacher and students, really clear to follow. And then it builds upon itself in spirals. And then lastly, she highlighted that it states explicitly in the curriculum, if there is anything you don't understand, let your teacher know. And she said, of course, I'm going to explain that to my students, but it spoke a lot to her that it stated right there, and she wants her student to ask when they don't know. So that's the overview of the Go Far with Chinese curriculum. Any questions?
I just want to congratulate the district for having this new class. It's very exciting. And to the students that are going to take it, they not only have to learn the language, but they also have to learn the alphabet and put that together. And I would love to see some of their work, you know, as they move on in the year. But I think it's amazing. So thank you for the putting that together.
How many students do we have signed up?
I believe it's 3 sections. Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's great. Thank you.
And to add on, Ms. Zeta, what you were just talking about, I was at Matthew Turner handing out awards for our home language recognition and for students that passed the LPAC. And I had several students there that were practicing their home language, and it was Mandarin. And it was very exciting to share that we have a new course, and we got to share about the syllabi literacy options. So they were really excited to hear that they're on this strong path for high school. And one of them was a first grader, so. Yeah.
So, make a motion that we approve the adoption of the curriculum for the world language Chinese Mandarin for high school.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
And
One
you're
more.
still up. One more.
All right, so I'm also here for your consideration and hopeful approval of the adoption of curriculum for our PEARL, that's a program for emotional regulation and learning, and our IA, our intensive academics ELA programs for high school, and our intensive academics program for our middle school. And I'm bringing forth StudySync from McGraw-Hill, which you have already adopted for our Liberty High School. And I worked with our special education teachers to really look at how to have our students be presented with age-appropriate, high school relevant material, but also that provides scaffolds and access for our students. And hands down, StudySync was the winner. It has so many different text options. So the way it's taught is through the close reading model. And the piece that's really engaging is before they jump into the text, they have a video blast. So it's kind of like a movie trailer that engages the students. And then they also watch teaching videos by high school students. So they model how to think out loud. They model how to go back and cite evidence from the text or annotate. And so the teachers really appreciated that it's student-led teaching videos that they can then teach into as a model. The teachers also said that the students are doing the work. It is engaging. It's definitely a step in the right direction. The scaffolds that are built in for our students are really fantastic. The teacher gets to decide according to what the students' needs are, that they can assign different scaffolds to different students. For example, for writing, a student may, they get the same prompt and a student may reply in paragraph form. Another student may have the topic sentence there for them so that they can then engage after that. Another student may have topic sentence and then supporting details where they're plugging in keywords so that depending on where they are, what their level is, they're still all getting to access that age-appropriate high school rich literature. So again, bringing this forward for the teachers. Also, then after our high school trained and dug into this, they were communicating with our middle school intensive academic teacher, Bonnie Ramirez, and she dug into this and wants to be able to align our intensive academics program at the middle school with our high school program because this is available for 6th through 12th grade. So that's why I am bringing forth the recommendation for it to be adopted for our Pearl and IA programs at the high school level and our IA program at the middle school level.
I'll make a motion
All right.
to approve the adoption of curriculum for the Pearl and for intensive academics ELA for high school.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
And Dr. Jennings, we are up to 13E.
Good evening again. Yes, this particular 13D.
13D, excuse me.
Yes, so this item is, comes to the board annually in the instance where we might have a teacher that's not fully credentialed or fully qualified under the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. We're required to make this declaration of need, and it's an annual declaration that comes before the board in order for us to apply for a waiver on behalf of the teacher who may be missing, one component of a teacher credential.
Do we have any students that, any teachers in that position?
Currently, this year, I think we have about 3.
Oh, we have 3.
So,
I move that we approve the declaration of need for the 25-26 year for fully qualified educators.
I'll second.
Who was the second? I'm sorry. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And Dr. Jennings, you are still up. Memorandum of Understanding with Benicia Teachers Association.
yes, this memorandum outlines that our collective bargaining agreement has a .4 release time that the district supports for whoever is the Benicia Teachers Association president. The BTA had applied for a grant with the California Teachers Association that it will match the .4, so we are able to then, for next school year, allow for the BTA president to be released from teaching for .8 next year. And the grant is focused on building leadership capacity within the teachers union. So I think it's such a good use of the time because we all know that a strong union makes for a strong district. So we want to make sure that we maintain that and build the teachers union.
I think that people need to remember too, that's not going to cost the district any money. It doesn't come out, it's paid for by CTA, not the district, anything above.
Thank you for clarifying.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Benicia Teachers Association for BTA president release time.
I'll second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
I am going to abstain.
Okay.
And we come to 13F, consideration and approval of the school resource officer.
All right, good evening. Staff recommends that we approve the contract before you. We really value the relationship with the Benicia Police Department. I got to tell you, they show up. Historically, they show up. And I will say that they're also very willing to come to the table and talk about some things that we want improvement on. And through this negotiation process, they were very open. I know the last couple of years, they've had staffing issues, and we had to go from two SROs to one SRO. And we talked about time on campus. So through this negotiation process, the police chief is very committed to keeping, we've got a new resource officer who's excited to do the role. It's been hard to recruit one. And this new resource officer, the expectation is that they're at BHS and BMS. That's where they're stationed. And if there's any calls or any emergencies, then there's a conversation and some communication. So I'm very happy where this is going. And we recommend that we move forward with it and continue this relationship. And if any issues come up, he said, pick up the phone and call me. We value this partnership, and we're looking forward to move forward.
I just want to say thank you, BPD,
Yes.
for your,
Absolutely.
your quick action and your partnership, especially with this week. My goodness, it's really appreciated.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the school resource officer's contract for 2025 through 2027. I can't believe it's that many years into this.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Now we come to 13G, and the board and I are pleased to welcome Janice Adams as our interim superintendent. She began as a special education teacher in Arizona and later taught elementary students at the International School in Japan. In 1990, she joined the Benicia Unified School District in California, where she served as in various roles, including resource teacher, assistant principal, principal of Robert Semple Elementary School. In 2006, Mrs. Adams was appointed interim superintendent of the Benicia Unified School District and became the permanent superintendent in 2007, a position she held until her retirement in 2015. During her tenure, she led the district through significant financial challenges, improved teacher morale, and oversaw the passage of a $49 million facilities improvement bond. Her leadership was recognized when she was named Region 4 Superintendent of the Year in 2012. We appreciate you coming on board, Janice, while we search for a permanent superintendent. We plan to hire a search company in the next coming days. Would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, for asking me and having confidence. When I came in this evening, I was like, I know things have changed. It's been a while, and so many wonderful things have happened in Benicia since I'm left. And my goal is to keep the progress under Dr. Wright's leadership with this great team and board, and just keep it moving forward until you're able to get a permanent superintendent. I have to say, I looking around, I'm thinking, one strength I have is I know talent. I hired both of those two. And I think I hired that one over there twice. Once in Fairfield and once in Benicia.
And you promoted this one.
Yes, and this one too. Oh my gosh. So I guess there's something I'm proud of. But thank you. I'm going to do my very best to keep things moving forward and look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the appointment in the capacity of intern superintendent for the Benicia Unified School District effective July 1st, 2025.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And now we come to 13H, consideration and approval of the interim superintendent employment agreement. Mrs. Adams' contract as interim superintendent provides for a flexible work schedule, 3 to 5 days per week. She will perform all standard responsibilities expected of a superintendent to ensure the effective operation and administration of the district. Compensation will be provided on a per-day basis. This agreement will remain in effect until a permanent superintendent is hired, at which point the contract will be terminated. We sincerely look forward to her leadership and thank you for accepting the position. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the interim superintendent employment agreement.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent.
And we come to the end of our meeting. Our next meeting will be June 12th, and thank you so much. Oh, and we're going to have a little reception.